Hello traders, the week ahead of the main world events that will affect the Forex markets, we'll take a look at US dollar, euro, British pounds and other main currencies of the world. Hello Bob, what are the major world events affecting the main currencies next week?
For the US dollar, pretty quiet week actually on economic data front, but plenty of key stats however to consider. We're going to be looking at wholesale inflation and consumer prices in the early part of the week. Obviously plenty of interest in inflation still. On the jobless front, we've got the jobless claims figures on Thursday, and then consumer sentiment figures wrap things up on Friday. For the euro, we've got German trade data at the start of the week. That coincides with ZEW economic sentiment figures for the Eurozone and Germany. Plenty of sensitivity to the sentiment figures, so expect influence there. Inflation figures, these are finalized numbers, are also due out through the week for member states. At the end of the week, Eurozone industrial production figures will also influence. For the pound, quiet first part of the week. At the end of the week, we do have second estimate GDP numbers for the third quarter, manufacturing and industrial production, and trade figures. Expect manufacturing production and the GDP numbers to have the greatest influence on the pound.
Thanks Bob, and regarding the commodity currencies, is it a quiet week for them again, or is there anything specific traders should focus on?
The loonie, very quiet week ahead, no major stats to consider, so that leaves the loonie in the hands of OPEC's monthly report and obviously crude oil inventories and prices. For the Aussie dollar, we got business and consumer sentiment figures on Tuesday, Wednesday. Plenty of interest there, obviously both consumer and business sentiment will need to improve to support spending and consumption to support the economy. On Thursday, employment figures will be key following the RBA's rate statement and a more optimistic outlook on the economy. A spike in employment would further support a sooner rather than later rate hike. For the Kiwi Dollar, relatively quiet week. We got electronic card retail sales figures early in the week and business PMI numbers at the end of the week. With little else to consider in the week, expect the Kiwi Dollar to be responsive.
Bob, and what is currently happening in the Asian markets? Inflation figures for the mid of next week are in focus?
The Japanese yen, no major stats to consider in the week. That leaves the yen in the hands of market risk sentiment and obviously monetary policy. On the economic data front for China, trade data over the weekend, that will have an impact on the markets going into the beginning of the week. And then obviously we got inflation figures midweek that will draw plenty of interest. A further spike in inflation likely to test support a riskier asset.
To sum up, what are the geopolitical risks we should look at next week?
On the geopolitical risk front, nothing really to report, so just need to keep an eye out on chatter from Capitol Hill and obviously China. And then there's the Middle East and Iran as well that always needs ongoing monitoring.
Thank you, Bob, for the proper insight. We'll see you a week after. Traders, please keep watching the series FX Week Ahead with our top expert in the field, Bob Mason from FX Empire.